Hi, I'm starting the new part, and that is angle probe calibration. The plan is like this. I'll be doing 70-degree probe calibration with calibration block number 1. Then I'll do the duct ECG with the duct block, this thing. Then next one is the same thing, repeating the same thing with 60-degree probe. Then after that, repeating the same thing with 45-degree probe. After that, I'm going to think about it, because either I'll go with the normal probe or I'll do transfer correction with the angle probes. Then I'll do maybe show how to work with them on the metal example that we have, and maybe then finish everything with the angle probes from the calibration to the working conditions. And then maybe after that I'll start with a normal probe, because the calibration is a little bit different and working a little bit different. So maybe that's the logical way to do the angle probes first with everything, then normal probe with everything, and then maybe that's it. So that's the plan. What we need to have is the machine, probes, cables, version 1 block, duct block, and then that's it for the calibration. So then I'll try to put it into one screen so you can see better, and I myself can see better later when I will look at my videos several months later, when I forget how to work with it. Okay, so for pausing this and starting the calibration of 70-degree probe. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go through fast through some of the screen settings also, so we know where to find them. Also, I'll put a probe on something and stick it there, so we have something on the screen showing. Okay, here some kind of spikes there, so that we have something there to work with. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, and then I see that I cannot fit the calibration block and everything into one screen, so I think I'll be doing that with 2 screens. So now I have already explained the range, how to move it left or right or in bigger increments. We cannot see the spikes, so the gain changes with this thing. So just to see something, I'm increasing it like that. They show nonsense now because it's anything connected. Now, if I go through the book, one of the settings is probe delay. What it is when we have a probe, an angle probe, transducer is like here. It's putting out the sound waves at an angle. The probe delay is like this distance. So we have to put it in there, measure it and put it. It's probe delay. So we can, that's what we put in here. And how to do that? We go on it. Then we can go left, right, or left, or the same with these ones, but it still goes in small increments. So that's the probe delay setting. So, okay. The first thing we looked at. Now the second setting is velocity. We know the velocity of this lock. Velocity is 3250 in the documentation of the first calibration block. When we know it, we put it here. Now, when we go on it, I can go right or left. If I go with these things, with these buttons, what happens is it changes the velocity of the metals. Iron cast, lead, magnesium, and things like that. So if you are working with a different metal, well, we are working here with a standard that is for ferrous metals and it's steel. So, but here are many metals and many things. So we go to something like that, and we change it to 3250 that we need. It doesn't go fast. Let's, oh no, once again. So, and when I change it, it switches to custom. So it's custom, it's not built into the machine. Come on. That will take very long for you to watch. But you should do that also. Okay, that's the velocity setting. Velocity. Display delay is what we don't need now, because display delay is from 0 to whatever range. So we can change it if we don't need that, but the standard settings is from 0 to whatever range we are looking at. So 0 here. Now we go to down and to the pulsar. The pulsar is the probe, or the part of the probe that emits sound. So we have here the setting voltage, and the recommendation from the manual is high. Then another one is energy, and also recommendation is high. Damping, let's leave it like 50, and FL mode at auto low 400. That's some kind of standard settings that we don't change now. There is more written in the book, but for us it's good enough. Now let's go to the receiver. Receiver is the probe, or the part of the probe that receives the sound. So what we have here is important things about the probe, about this one that I have stuck here. So frequency, we need to check on it. Rectify, I'll check the settings, but in Rectify we have 4 settings. Sorry, I'll make it right. RF, then it shows both up and down, negative and positive amplitude. Then we have rectify negative half wave, so it shows only the negative part. Then positive half is, it shows the upper half, and full wave, it puts both of the negative and positive of this into one graph. Now what we should use, I was using doing experiments with what's called thickness gauge, okay, and there is a recommendation to use either RF or negative. So here in this book, in this manual of this machine, there is no recommendation, so I will check. Maybe we should use what I have found to be working, maybe negative one or full wave. I think I will stick with the negative one, but I need to make some experiments to figure out what it shows, and is one setting better than the other. But for now, what I will be doing maybe is negative. Now, another thing about the receiver is dual. There are 3 settings. Dual is on, off and through. So I'm going right, it's on. The dual setting is for this probe, because for this probe we have transmitter and receiver, as well as here transmitter and receiver. So you should check that this goes into here, this goes in the right place. And if you have this for working, you have to put dual on. Then when it's off, you are using this one, okay, one cable, and it talks and it listens with the same transducer, like this. With this one, what it does is it's half of it. So one is sending the waves, one transducer, okay, then another one is listening, okay, so there are 2, and then this one is connected and this one is connected. With this one, it's all listening and talking, but at the small parts of the second. So it sends out the signal, and then it stops, and then it listens for it, and then it sends out, and then it listens with the same transducer. Okay, so that's off, because it's not dual, it's one cable. And through is what it says is 2 separate probes. So 2 separate probes will do transfer correction. We'll put them like this, and one will be transmitter, one will be receiver, and I think we'll be doing with a through mode. So they are talking, one is talking, one is listening. So that's the setting for transfer correction. So for now, for the angle probe, dual is off. Reject is recommended to have 0 degrees, because the noise can be rejected, but we don't reject it. We just ignore the small spikes. Now, according to the book, the next setting is not dark, is not auto, it's gate A. Gate A and gate B, this is this line. So we have the start of the line, the width of the line, and the threshold, the height of the line. I'll show how we use it, but here is the place we move the gate. And the top mode is peak, so when we measure this spike, it checks the peak of the spike. There are other modes here, the peak of the first spike and things like that, but we just use the peak here, peak setting here. And I think from the book all these settings I have finished, and now I'm going to do the calibration of the 70-degree probe with this first calibration block number V1 that is shown here.